What is Amphoreus' third path? A question that's been lingering with us since the end of Penacony. Two paths have been revealed as the Remembrance and the Erudition. It's also important to note that each of the three paths had to have at least an emanator-like being or even the Aeon themselves influencing their path on Amphoreus, in order for the mirror in the Garden of Recollection to recognize the planet, which by the way is a whole entire another can of worms, okay? The Memorial Keepers were able to recognize the presence of the Remembrance and the Erudition, but not the third path. So the question remains, what is Amphoreus' third path? And that's what we're doing today. I wanted to give three possible answers to this question. One that is widely popular, one that's been put forward by another theorist that I think is quite compelling, and finally my theory that I haven't actually seen too many people mention. But before all of that, if you like these types of videos, please like and subscribe. It always helps me know what you guys like. As always, let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below after the video. With that all being said, let's just get right into it. Starting with the destruction. It's probably the most popular theory of the three paths that I'm mentioning because honestly, Amphoreus is being destroyed, so destruction makes sense, right? There's also the fact that every world we've been through had an influence from the Stellaron, so why would they stop at Amphoreus? Now, those are pretty surface level reasons, but there's actually some substance to the destruction being the third path. Mainly, it's the imagery and mentions of the golden blood. It's pretty undeniable how similar Finality looks when he splashes the golden blood onto himself to the Aeon of Destruction himself, Nanook. Also, during the Amphoreus trailer, the golden sun bleeding out behind an eclipse is eerily similar to the background of Nanook's portrait. And the Black Tide being a creation of a Lord Ravager makes complete sense. It is a plague that causes people and titans to go mad and destroy each other, cutting out light from the sky. It is slowly and methodically destroying Amphoreus, which is actually the MO of a specific Lord Ravager that might have been hinted at during the original Amphoreus trailer, the chess player, a Lord Ravager that destroys a planet at a much slower rate than other Lord Ravagers, strategically ordering their troops to slowly advance and overwhelm the enemy to really dig into the lack of hope, preferring to study and research civilizations that they are attacking. At this point, Amphoreus has been in the process of being destroyed for a millennia, according to Aglaia. Okama is the final hope and fort for humanity and is now surrounded by enemies and darkness. In a certain sense, you could say that they are about to get checkmate. So yes, destruction definitely fits the bill for the third path. They even confirm emanators that can cause this level and type of devastation. The only thing is, depending on how old Amphoreus is and how long ago the Black Tide really hit, the events in Amphoreus might be older than Nanook, deeming it impossible for the destruction to be the destruction of Amphoreus. There also hasn't been any indication that the destruction is specifically in Amphoreus. As odd as it sounds, the destruction is not the only path that destroys worlds, which ties into the second path we're going to be talking about today, the Enigmata. This theory was put forward by Ashikai. She made an amazing video about this with very compelling reasons and evidence. Fun fact is that she actually was one of the people that inspired me to start making these type of theory videos. I would highly recommend watching her video after mine if you haven't seen it. I'll leave the link in the description below for you to compare our two theories and see who you agree with. But for the sake of this video, I'll give a quick TLDR. The main concept behind this theory is the intrinsic relationship that Mythos, the Aeon of Enigmata, has with Fuli and Nous, as they were supposedly born from the Remembrance, and the whole reason for being is to challenge Nous' certainty. This theory hinges on the idea that Nous might have calculated that Amphoreus would be destroyed, and since Nous has never been wrong before, Amphoreus was destroyed, but Mythos, wanting to prove that Nous' certainty was not truly certain, pulled Amphoreus into the memory zone, altering reality, causing the Black Tide, since dissolved reality is associated with madness. Mythos would have then altered the memories of the past events, and since the past dictates the future is now uncertain. The world-ending event, which by the way in this case might have been the anti-organic equation from the Machine Emperor's War. If you have no idea what I just said, I don't blame you. It's basically the story behind Golden Gears, which was a really long read. Now that the memories of this destructive event were forgotten and brought to the memory zone, it creates a paradox, as Amphoreus is supposed to be destroyed, but it's not. So now Amphoreus has a chance to save itself through the process of collecting core flames, which in this case was theorized to be fragments of a Stellaron. Now as to why this whole entire theory works, I would again recommend you to watch Ashikai's video after I give you my theory of the third path. See, I don't personally believe that Enigmata is affecting Amphoreus, and one of the reasons why is actually something pretty minor that Black Swan says in the beginning of the 3.0 quest.
Hidden beneath the brilliance of erudition and remembrance, yet possessing enough power to rival the other two paths. It could be the equilibrium, the enigmata, or perhaps the permanence.
Did you catch that? Black Swan mentioned the Enigmata herself. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Jordan, doesn't that support the Enigmata theory? Well, you would think so, but here's the thing. Typically, in stories like this, when a character gives you 3 options for a solution to a mystery in the beginning of a story, how often is the answer actually one of the 3 options? Think about it. How often is there actually a secret 4th option? See, this is a classic story writing technique that causes people to look out for reasons throughout the story to support one of the 3 options, so that when the writer shows the audience that there's an option that they weren't looking for, the shock and surprise is a lot bigger. Now, does this prove 100% that the Enigmata is not the 3rd path? No, but it did get me to start thinking about what other paths are there. And as I was looking around, I found one that fits the bill exactly: the Finality. The reasoning lies in exactly what is giving the Chryso heirs their mission: the prophecy. The prophecy is the whole driving force for the Flame Chase. It's the promise of a better future, for their world to be saved and born anew. Interestingly enough, we actually know one other character that gives prophecies, or rather, scripts: Elio. Elio and the Stellaron Hunters are confirmed followers of the Finality, who by the way showed up in 3.0, hint hint nudge nudge. It was confirmed that the powers given to the Pathstriders of Finality is the ability to interpret the words of Terminus and give omens and prophecies, such as the Omen Vanguard, who warned the IPC of a silicone-eating bacteria that would have infected a planet. The Intelligentsia Guild confirmed the dangers of that bacteria, proving that the Pathstriders of Finality can truly tell the possible futures. Following that logic, someone like Elio, who is able to make scripts that would affect planets and possibly the whole universe, probably is an emanator of the Finality. And so that brings me back to the Chryso heirs prophecy. A prophecy, according to Aglaia, that has been around for thousands of years, maybe a millennia, and affects a whole world that is also being influenced by 2 other paths. Whoever made this prophecy should at least be at the level of an emanator of Finality, if not just Terminus, the Eon themselves. As a final note, other than the prophecy itself, Trebos has been confirmed to have prophetic dreams that Aglaia and probably the rest of the Chrysos heirs trust. It would also be shocking to me if there wasn't another Chrysos heir that had some sort of oracle-like abilities, my guess being Hyacinth, as her name is a straight-up reference to a myth about Apollo, the Greek god of prophecy. Throughout all of Greek and Roman mythology and culture, prophets and oracles played a key role. If you think about it, a lot of Greek myths had some sort of prophecy or omen in it, including the Theogony, which is the story of the beginning of the Greek world. It's quote-unquote Genesis, which I already made a whole entire theory about how Amphoreus being an overarching reflection of the Theogony, so I'll link that in the description below if you want to check that out. Whether or not the 3rd path is Finality or not, I do think it's actually quite a nice touch that the heroes of Amphoreus are guided by a prophecy, just like the old Greek heroes from the myths. But what do you think is the 3rd path? Do you agree with me, or do you think it's something completely different? As always, leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Peace.